What's good, YouTube? Welcome to Guerrilla Tactics, the only place where you can make guerrilla warfare to make change. Now, YouTube, we're here for another topic. But before I do, I gotta let you guys know my last video, unfortunately, I got taken off of YouTube. Why? Because I guess I'm a little too real for YouTube to have me on there at the given time. So what I want you guys to do is I'm still going to do the topic that I was doing before, which is monsters or creation. But instead of having it on YouTube, I'm going to start on Instagram Live. Come on my Instagram Live on Sunday at 4 p.m. We're going to have a good time and talk about all the things that we need to talk about. So please check me out. If it's not at 4, it's definitely going to be at 8 p.m. And we're going to have a good time, good discussion, talking about, the realism and a lot of different things that need to be talked about without it being filtered. Now, beautiful people, we're here once again for another topic. This one is actually called Human by Nature, and it's going to actually correlate to a lot of different things. One, how much do we actually know about ourselves? How much do we know about humans in general? See, because there's certain criteria that we have on human beings. We dictate on who a human is based on their actions and the things they say. We dictate the value of a human being based on their status, based on their affiliations, how much wealth, how much territory, how much land, how much power they have. There are many different forms that we dictate from a human being. Then we go even further than that when we talk about the inside of a human being, which is that spiritual self within inside yourself. What goes on the inside? What's in your mind? What's in your thoughts? Stuff like that. So there's a lot of different things in human nature. And a lot of times we don't understand the nature that we inhabit because we refuse, just like my last video, to have that conversation with ourselves. And we feel like we can't have a conversation with other people because we feel like we're trapped. So beautiful people, we're going to get into this topic because it's something that needs to be discussed. Please talk to me. Please hit the comment bar. My comments are open, and let's get started. Yeah. Life just moves on. All right. Yeah. 3, 2. The beginning of the secrets to the life that you needed. Looking in my own eyes, knowing I couldn't defeat it. All the feelings in my soul, all my thoughts and told. What's good, beautiful people? So let's get into the topic. The name of the topic is called Human by Nature. Now, beautiful people, y'all know I got my notes. Definitely got to have my notes there, nice and handy. Keep the structure going. Human by nature. So the question is, who we want to be and who we create ourselves to be versus who we really are. When you look at social media, especially when it comes down to social media gives us that direction in order to create who we are, to create a persona of ourselves, who we want everybody else that's around us, whether it's friends, strangers, people around the world, whatever the case is, we paint a picture for them to see. And that picture on our social media actually creates us into being who we are. And 9 times out of 10, when a person goes to search and try to understand who you are as an individual, when they look at this social media, that's the person that they start to believe that you are. You know what I mean? So what you create in your social media is exactly what they believe for you to be, right? So when you look at it in hindsight, who are we? Who are you really? You know what I'm saying? When I did my last video, which was called the Dream Journal, I had said that we need to have a more deeper conversation with ourselves. A type of conversation that will allow us to understand who we are and what our innate mindset is. But a lot of us are afraid to even tap into that. We're afraid to know who we are. We're afraid to discuss certain things that we need to discuss with ourselves. We don't want to admit our faults, our wrongs, nothing. You know what I'm saying? So when you have social media, we create almost a perfect version of ourselves. So when other individuals see us, they see us as appealing, energetic, good personality, great person, so on and so forth. You will rarely see someone post up about them and them showing their scars, them showing their tears, them frowning in a video or a picture, and so on and so forth, because they want you to see what they believe is the best version of themselves, because they just want you to try to get to understand and know who they are. It's scary. We go through it all the time. In Flash, when Barry was talking to Iris for the first time, right? He was actually dressed up as the Flash, talking to her about, understanding the feelings that she was going through. And she felt like she could tell him everything. She was like, I don't even know why I'm telling you all this. And one of the things that he brought up is, he said, sometimes it's easier to talk to somebody without a face than to talk to somebody with one. Why? Is because if you're a stranger, I know for a fact I'm going to get your true intentions, because you don't know me. So you're not going to try and take my side. You don't know me, so you're not going to go against me. You're going to be objective to the situation. And most importantly, you're not going to judge me. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us feel like we're being judged. So in feeling like we're being judged, we refuse to have that conversation with those individuals that are close with us, because we don't want them to see us any different from what we've shown them. You see what I'm saying? So, but that goes back into your human nature if you think about it. Your human nature is to be appealing. That's part of your human nature. We do it all the time. When we want to tell somebody that we like them, we have to look the best version of ourselves. Females doling up their hair, making sure their makeup is all situated. Males is trying to make sure they're wearing the flyest outfits and so on and so forth. I got the nice Jordans. One of the most important things to a male is to make sure that that they have stability. That's what a lot of women like for when it comes to men. So what do? We make sure we got a car. We got to make sure we have an apartment. We got to make sure that when we talk to this woman, we're not telling her, oh yeah, I still with my mom. Oh no, my finances aren't doing so great. I just got unemployed. I'm technically don't have a job, but I do odd jobs here and there, different stuff like that. Those things are unappealing. So we want to make sure that we're as appealing as possible. So we create these personas in order to make sure that we're that appealing. Because if we have an appealing source of ourselves being shown to other individuals, those individuals are going to want to get to know us more. At least that's what we believe, right? So it's in our human nature to be appealing, right? So, but who are you really? What's really going on with you deep down inside of you? What's going on behind the scenes, behind the curtain? Are you hurting? Are you crying? Are you going through pain? Another video that I did was Masquerade, talking about how we place masks. It's the same thing. First we place the mask, then we create the scene. Now, if we create the mask, boom, you're going to only see us for what we want you to see. If we create the scene, boom, oh, this is how they live. Boom, this is how they live. So in reality, when you're looking at it, we only showing you who we want you to see. You know what I mean? So, in reality, we are only showing you who we want you to see. So let's really look at it. Who are we really? Right? We run. We hide from our innate and true nature, as a security blanket, and we overwork, push, blame, and shield ourselves from the truth. So who am I? See, that's a question that's really important, especially when it comes down to young kids who are starting to grow up. Who am I? What is my purpose? Why was I born? What do I want to do? Why do I want to do that? You know what I'm saying? You have two different forms of information that a child places inside of his mind. He either is thinking about what he wants to be in his future, or he's thinking about who he is. Why is he the way he is? What makes him who he is or she is? You see what I'm saying? They're trying to go through a map of discovery. Discovery of who my personal person is. Why am I Tychee24 Thank? What makes me Tychee24 Thank? You know what I'm saying? So we go through those different forms. And a lot of times, adults may not know it, but young individuals really are suffering from that thought. Especially those who barely know their parents or has an idea of who their parent is and so on and so forth, or whatever the situation is. Like for me, if I use me as an example, I don't know my father and I didn't know my mom. I'm reconnected now, but I didn't know her before. So I started to wonder who am I? Where is my lineage? Where did it start? Do I have a history? I know I was born. I know I was created, but from whom? What family tree do I have? You know what I'm saying? And then you go even further. I went even deeper than that. Once I found out that, I was like, dang, like, if my family is like this and like this and like this, how did I become the way I am now? What? Where do I start from? You know what I mean? Everybody else could go back and say, oh yeah, my grandfather this, my mom, my dad, this, that, and the third, but I couldn't. So I felt like, yeah, what am I? You know what I'm saying? So we go through that form. And what we don't understand is in order to hide ourselves from those feelings, we overwork. We work as much as possible so we don't have to think about it. Some people drink, some people smoke, some people go through all different types of things to try to run away from that one simple question of who am I? Okay? And that's sad because you're fighting against your nature to want to know more. You're fighting against that nature to want to know who you are. You know what I'm saying? And what I believe and what I follow, yeah, I know I love God, but when you find out who you are, you find Him. You have to have a relationship with God before you understand who you are inside, because He's your creator. So if He created you and He created your design, and He has more faith in you than you have in yourself, that goes to say something. You know what I mean? And that all comes down to what? A personal conversation. One with yourself and one with Him. Because if you don't understand, then ask some questions. I was always told, you know, when I was younger, like I said, I didn't have a lot of older people guiding me, but for the ones that did, I was taught that when you're dealing with a circumstance or you don't know something or you don't believe something or don't feel right about something, you have to advocate for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Avocation is that ability to speak up. Speak up. Tell how you feel. But a lot of people feel like they can't, right? So what's the next step from there? Therapy. A lot of us try to run from therapy because of multiple different reasons. One, we might feel like we're being crazy. Like, oh, I'm not a crazy person. I'm not going to therapy. Why would I do that? I'm not insane. I'm not losing my bonkers. You know what I'm saying? Then you have the other format of individuals. Like, why would I pay so much money to talk to a person who's gonna try and tell me about who I am when I know who I am? Ain't nobody know me better than me. You know what I'm saying? But here's the funny part. You don't know you. Because if you knew you, you will understand why you feel the way you feel. So it's easier to talk to somebody else who can give you that insight that you may not see. It's not wrong to have somebody tell you about yourself sometimes. Sometimes we need that. Sometimes we have to have a person look at us and say, look, you're really bugging out right now. You want to get better in life. You have to seek for better in life. You can't keep on walking around making excuses to why you can't have something. I can't have this, can't have that, can't make this happen, can't make that happen. You have to have someone to talk to. Yo, at my job, there's a bunch of homeless people. One homeless guy, he comes in and talks to me all the time. But the problem is every time I tell him to look up a job or to do this or do that, he got an excuse of why he can't. That goes to show how far you're willing to go to try to get yourself back on your feet. You know what I'm saying? Some people only want the conversation but don't want to commit the action. So therapy is a good thing to go to. Now, the reason why I say therapy is good is because sometimes we can't see the faults in ourselves. Sometimes it's harder to see our problems than it is to see someone else's. So when we're trying to understand what it is that I'm going through, why am I so angry? We're pointing fingers at every other person. Oh, they all make me angry because of this, that, and the third. Oh, I have this person in my life, so that person makes me angry. When we talk about that map to recovery, or we talk about that ability to recover and do better in life, a lot of times what we tend to do is we blame everything around us. That's why it's so hard for us to figure out what it is that we need to do for ourselves. It's so hard because we refuse to see ourselves in the situation. It's the same thing what a parent would do for a child. Oh, that's not my son. Nope, my son didn't do that. Not at all. No, that's my precious baby. He will never. He doesn't have the heart. He wouldn't even kill a fly. Nah, that's my son. You know, the whole nine. But in reality, you don't know your children as well as you know. Same thing goes for ourselves. We don't know ourselves as well as we think we do, because we refuse to see the truth behind it. We have problems. We have issues. Why don't we have friends? Because maybe it's because we too disconnected with everybody and don't want to be around nobody. Maybe we're too much into us being right and us knowing all the answers rather than giving someone else a chance. Maybe we just keep ourselves so distant that people are afraid to even come close. But instead, we look at it the other way. Oh, nah, I don't have friends because nobody's on my level. I don't got friends because nobody comes around me and wants to talk to me. I don't have friends because everyone's trash. Everybody got issues. I don't want to deal with that headache. When in reality, you're alone. You want someone to talk to. You don't have no one to talk to. And the reason why you don't have no one to talk to is because you're staying disconnected. But we will blame everybody else instead. So therapy gives you that ground base. They listen to you so that you don't feel like you're not being heard. But then at the same time, they feed you information that's going to guide you into understanding what's going on with you. It's not about telling you, it's about guiding you. See, in order for you to understand what's going on with yourself, you need guidance to what path to look at. What piece do I look at first? Why? Where did it start from? Where's the origin? You know what I'm saying? Going back to Flash again. Flash kept on 100%, 1,000 times percent, believed that the right thing to do was to go into the past, save his mother. He believed that was the right thing to do, no matter what. Okay? When he screwed everything up, after he screwed everything up, the question was, what happened? Why is everything changed? Why is everything different? Is it because I went to the past? No, that can't be the reason. What happened? Why is everything different? What is going on here? And it took him a while to really realize and understand that the reason why things turned out the way it did because of his change. He went to the past, saved his mother. He ended up being in what was known as Flashpoint. And him being in Flashpoint altered everybody else's life. We do the same thing when we take our direction. You know what I'm saying? So who am I? Right? Why am I running? And what am I afraid of? You are who you are. You are running because you don't want to face the truth. And you're afraid to find out that the answer to your question is all because of yourself. But these are all things that therapy guides you into. Now, trust me, I understand where you're coming from. I didn't want to be in therapy at one point either in my life. I just really didn't. And it was even more so because I had to take therapy when I was a kid, because I was in foster care, and because of the situation I was in, they had to test me. They had to see if I was okay, if I was, all right up here. So I had to take therapy as a kid. And the therapy back then used to piss me off. It was like, where's the triangle? That's the triangle. They was trying to test my emotions. Will I get angry? Will I not? Stuff like that. I didn't like that. But therapy's changed over the time, over the decades. Now therapy's more in tune to the idea of what caused a situation, okay? I brought it up in another video, like the law of motion, for example. Everything stays in motion and has emotion unless something disrupts it, right? So when you look at it like that, when you look at yourself, you stay comfortable who you are and what you're doing, and you stay in tune to who you are until something comes in and disrupts your flow. They disrupt your positive energy and you start to feel negative, whether that's you going through an experience in life or whether it's not. But therapy gives you that chance to direct all the pieces so that you can finally have an understanding of why I feel this way. See, all of us need to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. The beginning is where it all started. The middle is where it started to cultivate. And the end is the product of the situation. And in order for us to get there, we need help. You wanting help or needing help isn't a factor of you being crazy or a factor of you being less. It's just, that's actually more brave. You're braver by asking for that help. You see what I'm saying? You can't go to your parents sometimes because that's your parents. They're gonna tell you what you want to hear, what you should do, and what you should feel. Oh, that's my dad, so he's not gonna That's my dad. He's only feeling like that because that's my dad, and he's trying to protect me, and this, that, and the third. Oh, that's my mom. She's not gonna hear me out. This, that, and the third. Those are my friends. They get me, but I can't talk to them about this. This is something different. But when you're looking at a face that's separate from anything that you knew, anyone that was around you, it gives you that optimal chance to be honest with yourself. You know what I'm saying? And it's as if you're talking to yourself, but a person's there. You know what I mean? And then they can help direct you into the right place that you need to go. And it's funny because when I go back to Flash, he was talking to the Speed Force, and the Speed Force told him that he couldn't leave. And he was like, "Why can't I leave? Like, what are you talking about?" They said, "Because you refuse to let go." He's like, "What are you talking about?" They said, "Yo, you're a superhero. You have all these beautiful things about you, so on and so forth. But when's the last time that you visited your mom's grave?" People don't understand that the smallest things like that can lead big conditions in the end. You know what I'm saying? It starts from the root. When you pull it from the root, you get the whole, you pull it all the way out. There's nothing else growing. It's gone, right? So it's the same situation. When you go into therapy, it gives you that chance and that shot to take from the root, be honest with yourself, pull it out, and really see full in front what is the situation. You see what I'm saying? I understand what you guys are feeling about going to therapy. I don't want to talk to somebody else about how I feel. I don't want to spend all this money to do that when I could just figure it out myself. I don't want to go to therapy because I'm not crazy. I'm not dumb. I'm not none of that. Why should I go to therapy and do that for? But in reality, we need it because it's in our nature sometimes to block things out, to think that we're above things, to think that we're greater than things, to want to cultivate, to want to get more knowledge, to want to build on this, to build on that, to get aggravated when someone aggravates you, to get angry when someone does something wrong to you, to be happy when happy things appear. But we never know our direction or why we have these things. And therapy is a good place and a good way to understand that innate nature that we have. So going back to talking about therapy, now going back to the next process of it is nature. When you look at nature, we only see nature in certain forms, right? We see trees. That's a form of nature. The wind is a part of nature. The animals that inhabit nature is a part of nature. So that's how we look at nature. But what is the characteristics of nature? And what can represent the force of nature? See what I'm saying? When you look at nature, we're looking at nature substantially. In order to come from looking at nature being so substantially, we have to look beyond it. So beyond looking at nature itself, we have a nature of characteristics, okay? Those are known as your innate traits. These innate traits is the makeup of who you are, okay? Now, your ability to do certain things is based off of those traits. You see what I'm saying? If you're a person that gotta keep on moving, you're gonna have a fast trait. So sometimes you have a lot of track runners and so on and so forth who have certain traits that allow them to be more attentive to know which way to go, how much, and so on and so forth, right? When you have a very powerful trait to be able to take the receptiveness of certain things, you can build on things a lot easier, you know? So when you look at this innate trait, you have to figure out what the characteristic of your trait is. You know what I'm saying? We all have our own traits. So when I say that, your trait is connected to your action in a sense. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to use an anime that I like to read called Hardcore Leveling Warrior. And Hardcore Leveling Warrior, they have a game that allows you to create your own character, and your character's abilities is based off your personality. So of course you're gonna have to probably put your personality and all that different type of stuff, what you like, what foods you like, all that type of stuff into the game, and then it will correlate your character based off who you are. Okay? Now when you build on certain abilities, there's an ability called your traits. Okay? Your traits are an aspect of your personality. See what I'm saying? So whatever ability they got for their trait, it became what their personality was. So the character, the main character, was a gambler in real life. He had a hard time not gambling. So when he went into the game and he put in his trait, he put in his information, his trait became known as Lucky Coin. Lucky Coin has the ability to do what? To make a chance. Flip a coin, see what chance you get. You're either going to have extreme luck or it's going to fail and it's going to be miserable for you. You see what I'm saying? And then the luck gets stronger as you get stronger, whatever the case is, right? So when we look at human beings and we have ourselves as individuals, we all have our own innate traits. I have an ability to talk, okay? But I'm a person this is the type of personality I have. I care about how people feel. I want to save and protect people. I wanna make change into the world. I want to build on something. I think very deep, and I go into deep, different conversations with myself and trying to uncover and understand all mysteries and so on and so forth. So within me having that type of personality, what will be my trait? The ability to speak to individuals. You see what I'm saying? So when you look at your force of nature, your force of nature is the aspect of your trait. It's what you project outwardly, based off who you are as an individual. So if you're an outgoing individual who has a lot of positivity, you're 9 times out of 10 gonna inspire individuals. That's a force of nature. See what I'm saying? Going back to law of motion, everything is in motion and stays in motion unless something disrupts, right? What disrupts? A force of nature. So let's put it like this. When an individual has negativity in his mind, and that's all he thinks about is this negative this and this negative that, and so on and so forth. But then a positive person is in their life and he keeps spilling positivity to them. As time goes on, their force of nature of positivity is going to alter that individual's thought process. So now instead of them being so negative, they're going to start having a mindset more neutral. Get it? So what is the characteristics of nature? Nature is a force or an entity or something that is causing a change, a chain reaction or a change in your life, in your actions, in your thought process, and your ability to do so. So when you go to therapy, the therapist in a shape or form is that force of nature that's placing an energy or a force on you that help you understand what it is you're going through more, so that there could be a change in you. And that's all we ask for. We need a change in ourselves. Now, the reason why I say that we need a change in ourselves is because then that now correlates to what? That correlates into the next portion of the situation, the characteristics of humans or man or a woman, right? Those characteristics of a man or a woman is very important because we're different in our innate format. Men were groomed into believing that they can't show emotion, so we don't. In order to adapt to that mindset of not being able to talk to somebody, we turned it into a callous hardness and said that it's because I'm man enough and I can just handle it all. But what we don't understand is that when we did that, when men decided to believe that we can't be vulnerable, we can't break, and we always gonna have the ability to make everything happen in the right way and so on and so forth, we kind of gave that persona. See where it's going? We give that persona that we're like the man of steel. We're Superman. We can handle all problems and deal with all things, and there's nothing that can stop us. But then when we have those times when we finally break down, because eventually you're going to break down because it goes against that human code or that human nature for you not to break down, you're going to eventually break down because you're human. It looks off to everyone around you because you were so strong all the time. You projected that persona. See what I'm saying? So your force of nature caused everyone else to believe that you are a force of nature and you can't be moved. But we're human. And as human beings, we have emotions, we have thought processes, we have our own ideologies and theories and so on and so forth. We have to be important in some way. See how I just did that? You just went into another force of nature. Sometimes what happens is that it's like we're taking pieces and making them about us. Okay? So I'm a human being. I can make mistakes, right? At first, I couldn't believe that. So, I'm trying to be as perfect as possible. But now I know I can make mistakes. But then what we tend to do is now we made it about ourselves. Wait a minute, I can make mistakes, so I'm going to keep making mistakes. So every time I make a mistake, oh, wait, but you told me I can make mistakes. Like, I'm human. Remember? Yeah, you're human, but you're still going to be held accountable. You get it? So this force of nature, which is the individual that taught you that you could be human, put a change in you to make you less hard. So now you're showing your emotion and being more human because you now feel more human in yourself. So that force changed you. But you then took that change and created a force yourself. And what was the action? Oh, well, I'm human, so I can do these things and they're going to understand because, I'm human and I make mistakes. But that doesn't keep you from taking the responsibility of your action. You see where I'm coming from? We do the same thing with a sickness. Like, you trying to figure when you don't know what's going on with you, you want to find out. You need a name for it. It's got to be a name behind why I'm being the way I am. There's got to be a name for it, right? So I feel this way, and I'm going through these things, and I need to know what it is that's going on with me, so that I can more understand what it is that is happening with me, and so on and so forth, so I can be less scared and more secure, right? Then when you go to the doctors, you go to the infirmary, you go wherever, and they put a name on it. Oh, well, you got high levels of depression and anxiety. Oh, I have a high level. No wonder I feel this way. No wonder this is happening to me. No wonder I going through this and going through that. But then that was a force that put that change in you. So now you know what's going on, right? But what happens after that? You create a force. You got to remember, everything stays in motion. So that created a force, made a change in you, and it still keeps on going. And now you're making a force, making a change in your own self and the people around you. And what was the force that you changed into? Oh, well, I can do that because don't forget, I have high levels of depression, anxiety. You can't treat me like this, and you can't tell me this and that, and this, that, and the third. I'm acting this way because I have high levels of depression and anxiety, so you can't do that. And then you think that you're vulnerable you're invulnerable to the consequence. No, you're not. Just because you have high levels of anxiety and depression doesn't mean that what you did was right. And you still have to be held accountable. See the reality? You have the human nature and you have a force of nature. The human nature is to do what? To have a reason behind everything. Everything got to have a purpose or a reason. That's the human nature. What is the force of nature? The ability to move those things. Remember how in one of my other videos I told you about the human will and how you could place your will on somebody? It's the same thing. Your will is that force of nature that you're placing on somebody else. And if their nature isn't as strong as yours, they're going to succumb to you because you seem different. You see what I'm saying? That's a force of nature. So you have to pay attention to that force. You have to pay attention to all those different things that's going on in life. But in order to make a change, sometimes we can't always do it ourselves. Sometimes we have to look in the mirror, and it's easier to do that when you have someone there to talk to. So when you feel like you have no one else to talk to, whether it's your family, your friends, people close to you, it's okay to go to therapy. It's okay to have that one-on or R&R conversation with somebody. Not because you look crazy, you seem crazy, or whatever the case is, but so that you can have a source and a direction to place your feelings. Because if you have no source of direction, what tends to happen is our feelings are going out. So when you have nowhere else to direct it, your feelings are going out sporadic. And that's worse, because now it's going to go wherever direction it goes. It might come and burst out in anger. It might burst out because sporadic. So you have to give that open. You have to be open enough to really see the truth. And in order for you to see the truth, you have to have someone to give you that direction, someone to talk to help you, and to give you an insight that you may not see, that's important for you to see. You know what I'm saying? So human by nature, I named it that on purpose, because I'm human. And I have a force of nature that's by nature. You see what I'm saying? It becomes difficult sometimes to move because we're not sure on which way we're supposed to move and why. But some of that is just our characteristics. It's in our human nature to do certain things. But it's in our decision making to create a force in life, not just our own, but those around us. So in order for you to get an understanding, you have to be more open and more willing to take the help that's needed to understand what's going on with yourself, and to look at yourself to get more of an understanding of why things are being placed in your life. But I had to give you that one-on-one conversation of the different forms of those natures so that you can get more of an understanding of why it's like that. But in order for you to understand what type of nature, you need to know what nature is in itself. It's an innate action. It's the thing that makes us who we are. Okay? It's in my nature to want to help someone. So what am I doing? I'm right here before you guys creating these videos, doing these lives that I'm going to start doing. So guys, if you want to find what it is that you are, or if you're looking deep inside the human man, the human woman, and you're afraid and you're scared and you don't know why you feel the way you feel, it's okay to go to therapy. It's okay to talk to somebody. Don't shield yourself off, because all you're doing is causing harm to your heart. So beautiful people, thank you for joining this video. Thank you for coming on to Guerrilla Tactics again. Please like, subscribe, and comment to my videos. And most importantly, hit that notification bell for more. Beautiful people, the only way that you can rise and the only way that you can change is sometimes creating a new heart. And in order to do so, you have to be more open and more understanding to who you are and what makes you who you are. And sometimes be open for help, because sometimes we may not see what it is that others can see in us. So let me ask you, when you look through my eyes, what do you see? Thank you, beautiful people, and God bless. Yeah. Life just moves on. All right. Yeah. 3, 2. The beginning of the secrets to the life that you needed. Looking in my own eyes, knowing I couldn't defeat it. All the feelings in my soul, all my thoughts untold. Looking for